All right, Paddy, so this is your second week in the performance and aesthetic phase. So you're in week 6. All right, and this is really kind of merging everything that we learned together now into close to your final blueprint that you're going to follow from the next 3 to 6 months. So what we're going to do is perfect your intermittent fasting, and I literally wrote a chart of everything that you're going to do. They've already been doing, but putting it more together in a master plan. So what we do is we keep refining this master plan, which I call just a daily checklist. All right, so the goals are obviously still to formulate that final plan, which is going to take the last 2 weeks to do, so we're on week 6. And last but not least, to kick fat burning up into its most advantageous state. So what we need to understand is every time that you consume sugar, all right, I want it to only be going towards the muscle, which means when you consume carbs, you basically should be around your workout period. So we're gonna push carbs back as far as we can. This terminology a lot of people call carb backloading. What that does is it pushes all your carbs to the end of the day. Now what that does is, one, it's very easy for a social schedule. So if you want to go out with your friends and eat dinner and not be restricted around a lot of people, that's a great time to put in your carbs. Number 2, it helps with recovery. All right, so at night you want to rest and digest. Carbohydrates also help you sleep. When did you that's why a lot of people get so tired in Thanksgiving. It's literally like a carb coma. Last but not least, on the scientific end, when insulin is high for sustained periods of time, it's almost impossible to lose weight. Insulin has to be low for you to release fatty acids. That's why they don't like a high blood sugar for long periods of time. Now, right before a workout, we spike the insulin because it's a carrier hormone. It can carry testosterone and move shit around. But then right when we're done with workout, we want to replenish and get right back down to baseline. So that's really, when we're talking about all this stuff, behind it is actually a hormetic profile of controlling your insulin. So I also want you to know how that works, and that's a very quick and easy description. So let's get into the play-by-play and exactly what you're gonna do every day, probably for the next at least 1 to 2 weeks. First thing, when we rise in the morning, right away you get in your morning cleanse drink, your Graminos, and enhanced coffee or tea. Basically in the morning until 12 o'clock, you're all liquids. Okay, so you're just focusing. The ideology behind this, when you consume that morning cleanse drink, the cells start waking up and they're like, all right, we're gonna start the process of hydration. I don't tell you to drink 100 ounces of water within the first minute. I just want you to cue your body for hydration. The Graminos, again, that's a cueing. Your body starts immediately to absorb lots of plants, vegetables, digestive enzymes. It's great. Once you do that a lot, your body will start to naturally crave those things because you're indoctrinating yourself with it every single morning. All right, and then the coffee and stuff, that's just really to, if you like the way it tastes and feels, if you feel more cognition, more alert, more focused, sweet. You can drink that. I think drinking all 3 of those is one of the best ways to kind of kickstart your morning. Physiologically, you're getting some caffeine that's going to help free up some more fatty acids, a little bit of alertness. It's perfect. So we get into break the fast, which is really your breakfast at 12 o'clock. I want you to keep it carb-free. So you're going to load up on plants, proteins, and fats. If you kind of look at this chart over here, all right, so that's, if you were to look at a plate, this is your vegetables and protein and carbs. That's what you're going to eat for dinner. All right, for lunch, that should be split in half. Half vegetables, half protein, as much as you want, with some fat on top. So what do you mean by the fat on top? So let's just say you're going to eat a Chipotle, and I want to eat a plants, protein, and fat. So what's the plants? Is the fajitas, the peppers. So you start off on a base of peppers. All right, for the protein, have 2 kinds. Have the chicken and the steak. And you can add some fats on top. So either the cheese, the guac, or the sour cream. Not all 3, one of them. Okay? So we call it 2 thumbs of fat. So about that much fat. Okay? So that much cheese, that much sour cream, a huge dollop of guac. That's an easy way. And obviously you can throw salsa in there because that's plants, right? Vegetables. So at 3 p.m., If you're still hungry, you can have a protein snack. Now, what I did for you on a separate sheet called your protein cheat sheet is a shitload of way different obscure types of proteins, all different sources, animals, milk, nuts, vegetarian source, just different stuff to expose you to some other types of protein snacks so you don't get stuck in a rut. That's if you need to eat at 3 o'clock. Now we start the process at 4:30 because I know you're working out at 5. We can start kickstarting that insulin drive, driving it up so we can have a piece of fruit and about 4 ounces of your tri-blend with a little bit of honey in it on your way picking up Finn. I know you grab him. I don't know if you drop him off and go right to the gym. I don't know that exact exchange, but 4:30, about a half an hour before your workout, you want to cue insulin because we want to start kicking up testosterone, epinephrine, which is adrenaline. Remember, insulin's a carrier hormone, so it's like, sweet, I want to carry this stuff to muscles. We don't want to raise up insulin and then it doesn't have anywhere to go, so then it stores as fat. And that's really what it breaks down to. It's just that simple. So if insulin's gonna go up, if you're gonna have carbs, man, we gotta be putting it to the muscle. All right, so then we go into your workout phase. You continue your tri-blend. Right after you're done, you're gonna continue with your post-workout meal, which so far you've been doing the shake plus a piece of fruit and a handful of nuts. Stick with that. Last but not least, we get into dinner. So again, look at you're starting your carbs at like 4:30, having a piece of fruit, then your workout, you're finishing up your tri-blend, it has honey in it, still more carbs. Post-workout, carbs, fats. We end on protein. So for dinner, protein, a fistful of carbs, 1 to 2 fists of veggies, and 1 to 2 thumbs of fat. So you're probably like, what the fuck does that mean? So let's look at the plate for dinner. I'm going to adjust this real quick. So veggies, 2 fistfuls. That's a lot. It can be a mixed variation of veggies. You could have a salad and like broccoli sprouts. That all counts. I think mixing your vegetables up as much as possible is the best way to go to consuming them. One, you're going to get a variation. When you're eating vegetables, you want to think about eating a rainbow. So all different colors, they all offer something special. 2 fistfuls of proteins, 1 or 2. So maybe you're not terribly hungry, but you can always do 2 fistfuls of veggies and 2 fistfuls of protein. For carbs, 1 fistful. So this can be any carb you want. You could have rice, potatoes, quinoa. It can be a slightly dirtier carb if you want. So dirty carb would be like if you guys went out and had like Chinese food and it came in that rice that's kind of dirty. It's okay. It's not going to kill you if you stick to this format. This cleans up to, if you keep your carbs till the latter end of the day and you're intermittent fasting, that's going to clean up about 90% of your fat loss. So if you wanted to get, totally shredded to shit, yeah, then you're just going to do like 6-pack abs, dry and like hard cuts. Yeah, you're just going to do a cup of white rice, okay? But, if you want to get still pretty lean while having a little bit more flexibility, carbs can just be like a dirtier carb. All right, so that's everything for this week. Again, it's nothing too different than what you're already doing, but now it's putting it in a real game plan with real nice, easy chunks and blocks. Now, I know your last question is going to be, well, what about the days that I don't work out? Then you just don't do your 4:30. Okay, a piece of fruit, 4 ounces of tri-blend. That can just be a regular meal. Okay, so at 4:30, you don't want to start putting in all of these carbs if you're not going to be using them, right? So that can just be another protein, a fistful of carbs, vegetables, and fat. You can do that at 4:30 because the type of carbs, fistful of carbs here, rice, potatoes, that's a slower carb. If you start hammering in fruit around 4:30, again, your body's going to cue for insulin. So if you're going to eat on your non-workout days, it's going to be you could have a piece of fruit, that's okay, but it'll be best if your carb sources were stuff that's from the ground and not trees. So trees is more fruits. Okay, from the ground, you're going to get different types of nutrients from the soil. So tubers, anything rooted, just think what comes from the ground. Rice, okay, oats, barley. All right, so that's everything. I'll be texting you tomorrow. I know it's a lot of stuff, so I expect to hear from you.